Hey there, everybody. It's George from DinosaurGeorge.com. All right, Israel from Brockton, Massachusetts. The name Saurophaganax means king of the lizard eaters. So is it true that Saurophaganax is the true king of dinosaurs? Israel, that is a very, very, very good question. Very astute question. That's so cool. The name given to a dinosaur does not necessarily determine its place in the hierarchy of animals. The name Tyrannosaurus rex, that name means tyrant lizard king. It was given to that dinosaur because it was so big and so vicious. Saurophaganax, you're right. Its name means king of the lizard eaters. It got its name because it's so big. But forget the names. Look at the body design of these animals. In my opinion, Tyrannosaurus rex was certainly more powerful and probably more advanced. And when I say advanced, I mean its ability to use its brain. Probably more advanced than Saurophaganax because it came along much later and had a much greater chance to kind of develop a bigger brain. It's also, T-Rex has binocular vision and Saurophaganax didn't necessarily have that. So T-Rex is kind of like a souped up model of Saurophaganax. But I will say this, Saurophaganax was one big bad dude for its time. It was a nasty, nasty predator. The true king of the dinosaurs, I don't know. I would say this, Tyrannosaurus rex can be king of the Cretaceous dinosaurs, but at its time, there was nothing more deadly and powerful than Saurophaganax. All right, Joshua from Oxford, North Carolina. Hi, Dinosaur George. Hey there, Joshua. Thank you for putting my questions on video. It is absolutely my pleasure, Joshua. Thank you for writing to me. Let's see if you can answer this question. I have learned that Komodo dragons are extremely intelligent, and they are. In fact, they're one of the smartest reptiles on the planet today. And that has got me to thinking. If Komodo dragons are extremely intelligent, what about Megalania? How smart was it? Sincerely, Joshua. Wow. Joshua, I don't know how old you are, but this is a very, very brilliant question, my friend. Megalania was very similar to the modern Komodo dragon. The only difference was he was the size of a bus. He was huge. He was massive. But I have never looked at the brain scan or the CT scan of Megalania, so I don't know if he had as big a brain. But I really like the way you're thinking, Josh. That's a brilliant way to think. I really like it when people use modern animals as a way to kind of think about prehistoric animals. Was he as smart as a modern Komodo? I have no way of knowing, my friend, because I've just never studied the brain scan of a Megalania. But I can tell you this, Megalania probably didn't need to be as smart as a Komodo dragon because Megalania was just so giant. Sometimes brawn can be a decent substitute for brains. So I just don't know, but there you have it. All right, Dariel from San Antonio, Texas. That's my hometown. How do you know how old a dinosaur is? Well, Dariel, that's a great question too. I just kicked the camera, so if you saw that jump, I'm sorry. Dariel, there's no way to know for certain how old a dinosaur is, but there are ways that we can estimate whether the animal is very, very young, middle-aged, or at least a mature adult. And there's ways to look at that. One of the ways is looking at the hip bone. The older you are, the longer you've been walking. And the more you walk, the more you wear out your hip bones. So if you find a dinosaur with kind of worn out hip bones, that sort of tells you it's probably a mature adult. The other way to look is at the skull. When dinosaurs are young, their skull, there's different parts of the skull. And as they get older, those parts begin to fuse or sort of lock together. So if you find a tiny little skull, but all the bones are fused together, you can say, hey, this isn't a baby. This is just a small dinosaur that's full grown. And there's other ways. We can look at things like the knee, looking at the knee joints. When you look at the part where the knee wears, you can see that on an adult, there's a lot more wear than there is on a juvenile. So there are some ways to tell. And finally, I read a report one time where somebody, I think in Florida, figured out that you could cut a rib and look at the cross section and almost kind of sort of count the rings like you do in a tree. Now, whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but it is pretty cool if it is accurate. All right, Jonathan from Tyler, Texas. What is the biggest animal that has ever lived? Well, you know, for the longest time, and still today, we're all taught that the biggest animal that ever lived is a blue whale. But now they're starting to find animals that might rival that. Sauroposeidon, Bruhackeosaurus, Argentinosaurus, Seismosaurus. These are all dinosaurs that may have grown to be longer or maybe more massive than the modern blue whale. So it's very difficult to say with any certainty. Certainly the blue whale is the biggest thing that we've ever seen. It is a big, big animal. But to my knowledge, some of those big sauropods, the long-necked dinosaurs, may have actually been longer than a blue whale. All right, everybody, that's it. These were all great questions. Thank you all for writing to me, and I certainly appreciate it. If you've got a question, go to dinosaurgeorge.com, click on the Ask Dinosaur George page, and fill out the form and send it to me. Keep in mind that I get so many of these questions, some of them I don't even have time to read. So when you send me a question, try to keep it short and to the point. If you send me just a long laundry list of questions, in all honesty, sometimes I don't even have time to read them. I just delete them because I just don't have time. So for a better chance to get answered, make sure and send them kind of short and to the point. Thank you guys for writing. Take care of yourself. Take care of all the people around you. And remember, you make sure to practice your manners and use good manners when you're speaking to people. And practice your reading skills if you're young, because good reading skills and good manners will get you a long way in this world. Thank you all so much. Take care, and I'll see you guys again soon.